Hello, BookTube. It's day one of Litmas, a holiday BookTube extravaganza created by the guys at Stripcover Lit, Adrian Fortescue and Dalton Gentrification, in which there'll be a prompt every day between now and Christmas Day, just to reflect back on the year in BookTube and the year ahead. And prompt number one, the one for today, is to talk a little about the best friend that you've made on BookTube in 2018. And I think I won't be the only person to approach this prompt as an impossible thing, impossible to narrow it down to one person. I bet that in the course of the day, as Litmus videos pop up, I'm going to see a lot of people talk about a lot of people. And I have to do the same thing. There's no way for me to do it, of course, because I consider you all friends. In the course of 2018, most of the rough, ragged-edged a-holery that tends to crop up on and anybody who posts videos as often as I do in the comments field, most of that has frittered away. Because over the course of 2018, various people have planted flags, and even without me banning them, even before I do, it's been kind of heartening to see them just getting shouted down all over. You all get me, and I get all of you. We know how to joke with each other. We know how to take each other seriously. We know that respect and humor have to go together, and they're the basis for everything, which is why we can have so much fun in the comments field, and we can disagree about so much, and we can make fun of each other and come up with quips and running jokes with each other. And it sounds just the worst, most fart in a cathedral discordant note when somebody shows up in the middle of that conversation looking for trouble. And fortunately, I haven't been alone in that. All of you don't want that relationship disrupted any more than I do. So the people who have been tempted from time to time, very, very rarely, considering how many videos I make, very rarely to pop up in my comments field and make trouble, have felt decidedly unwelcome, and they don't show up much anymore. And that's great. It frees us from, for instance, the nagging, die-hard population of people from 2016 who still want to come on this channel without watching any videos and call me, yeah, you're kind of funny. Of course, you're a sexist. Everybody knows that. But you don't know that. You haven't watched any videos. All you know is a stupid hashtag from 3 years ago. It's nice that those people are gone and that we're stuck with each other. I shouldn't say stuck with each other. But it makes a prompt like this a little difficult for me to do because I consider you, I mean, I recognize a lot of names. I email with tons and tons of people. Voxer with tons and tons of people. Feel free to find me on Voxer. You'll recognize me right away. There's a muscular teenager with no shirt on. Feel free to Voxer me there. Just establish a connection. Leave a message. I will get back to you. I will leave a message. I get tons of text messages. And as you've seen, there's an active correspondence. I send out books to a lot of people, and I sometimes, even though I admonish you all that you have better things to do with your time and money than mail books to a weird old guy with smallpox scars from 1782, I still get books in the mail as well from the rest of you. So I consider that friendship is kind of wide and broad on this channel. I guess if I were going to narrow it down for 2018, I would do it in an old-fashioned way, because I am, as you know, 28 years old, which means I've seen a lot of history, and so there's a part of me, a part of the lizard brain of mine that hasn't fully adapted to the 21st century, that views friends as in person, as in person, as people that you actually see with your eyes and hang out with. I don't think that's completely true anymore. I might be deluding myself. If so, I will go to my grave this way. But I have the strong sensation from this BookTube channel, for instance, that if I were to come in front of this camera and express a problem, a lot of you would say, I'd like to help. A lot of you would do that. I have come on this camera before. Occasionally, I will come on camera in a serious mode, and the response is overwhelming every time. So I don't know that isn't friendship. I think it bears thinking about in the 21st century what exactly that is. But if we were to narrow it down to just people physically, well, it's a mountain must come to Muhammad type of thing, but it still happened. It's harder for me to go and see people because it means either me taking my little puppy along, now that she's my only dog, my 2 old girls are gone, it either means me taking her along, which is an extraordinary thing, or it means me leaving her behind, which is every bit as extraordinary. So it usually means, if we're going to narrow it down to people in person, it means they come to me. And I've had visits like that. Becky Ford came to visit, doing a flying visit to Boston. The mighty Olive and her husband, absolutely hilarious to be in a room with them together. So, they are, as Olive puts it, rather unabashedly in love. It's disgusting. So we'll be in a room, and when you have people over, bookish people especially, there's often, before you settle in with the hot food and the wine and the rambling conversation, there's often a period where you're still all on your devices. In my case, finishing up the day's work. In their case, doing other stuff. And the last time they visited, the last time they visited in 2018 was a classic moment. I'm sure they don't remember it, where they were each sitting in separate chairs, and Tony was working on an old computer of mine, and Olive was doing something, I think on her phone or something like that. And Frida was with me, and I was writing, finishing up something before we all got started. It wasn't unfriendly at all. It was just, you do that before you gear up, then to put things away and just hang out. And so the room for the moment was quiet. And then, out of the blue, out of that silence, Tony said, "Oh yeah, I was just thinking the same thing." Because that's the kind of communication he and Olive have. It's weird. And when they get talking, and especially drinking, it's like dealing with some sort of trill situation. But that was a lot of fun. And Peg, the book prize addict, and her husband came up. We went to used book shopping and traded anecdotes. Lots of fun. And they made the big mistake when we were driving back. We went out to a bookstore far afield, and when we were driving back into Boston, once we got close to the city, they made the big mistake of taking my directions. And it's lucky that none of us survived, because as people have been noticing for, I don't know, 45, 50 years, I don't actually know where I live. So this is a bad idea to take my directions when it comes to anything. And Jennifer, insert literary pun here. Is anybody on BookTube old enough to remember when she made videos? She came up a few times to Hyde Cottage. Usually, in fact, all the times that she's been here, it's been in company with other people, book critics, young novelists, whatnot. And once the wine gets flowing, the bookish conversation was wonderful every time. And then, in addition to everybody else, there was the standout. The one example in 2018 where it was actually possible for me to go somewhere else because Frida was invited, and that was Mark Richardson. And his wife Deb. He has a Deb as well, only his Deb is a considerably later model than mine, considerably more efficient in every way. Either that or mine was defective in the factory. I don't know one way or another. But they actually made the extraordinary gesture of inviting me and Frida up to the little farmhouse in Vermont for Thanksgiving. And that might sound not that big a deal. You're laying out a dinner anyway. But it was the first time anybody's done that. It's the first time a family has done that to me in a long, long time. And I was bowled over by how good it felt. By how utterly that has ingrained itself in our psyches, that at that time of year you go to a family dinner. It was just wonderful. And also I learned a lot about Frida on that trip, and all of it was good. I learned that she's a completely sweet, well-adjusted dog. She's curious and attentive, but not bossy. She's not destructive. She's fairly adaptable, although she didn't really like the car ride. She wasn't a big fan of the car ride at all. It was absolutely delightful. And that was a rare case where I mean, Mark and I are old cronies anyway. If once it becomes 11 o'clock at night and the Star Trek is playing and the wine has been flowing, you would be hard-pressed to tell us apart. That's bad news for him, but I thought it was kind of funny, the look of long-suffering patience on Deb's face at some points. But that was the extraordinary moment for 2018, really, was me hitting the road with the bean. That was totally unexpected. And even if I had thought about it, because I'd been to the old farmhouse once before, even if I'd thought about it, I was not prepared for how much of an emotional gut punch it was to have a place to go on Thanksgiving, a place where I was welcome. That was amazing. And walking Frida at night under genuine stars and a genuine moon with genuine forest all around, that was wonderful too. So that is my response to Litmas Day 1. your friends on BookTube. It's a little bit conflicted because even though it was wonderful to see all those people, I don't mean that to discount the relationship that we have right here. As I've mentioned on this channel before, once I start recording, I forget that I'm recording. I just think I'm talking to you all. And that feels like a friendship. That feels like a real connection. And I'm hoping in 2019, if all things stay the same, I'm hoping that I get a lot more visits. I can't really realistically hope to do a lot more visiting because that's a huge imposition on other people. Although Frida never even considered going to the bathroom inside the old farmhouse. She was wonderful the whole time. She's a thoroughly housebroken little dog, and she never really made any trouble. If things got too chaotic, she just came and found me on the couch and just hung out until they settled down. So, but nevertheless, it's almost certainly in 2019 going to have to be people that come to me, and I hope they do. I invite you all to come here. If you're coming to Boston or if you're nearby, let me know. We'll go to the Brattle and come back here. We'll eat and drink. We'll make merry. It'll be fun. There are a whole bunch of people that I'm hoping to see in 2019, and of course, all the people that I named must come back. All of them must come back. So, that's it for Litmas Day 1. I can't wait to see the rest of you make this video. This is a fun event, and Dalton and Adrian have come up with great prompts. So we're going to be doing this for the rest of the month until Christmas sucks us all down into its dark vortex. So I'll see you tomorrow for Litmas Day 2. Thank you, BookTube.